Hello, it's Friday, September 4. Today we're going to be looking at Job chapters 1 and 2 together. I really think that you should read Job 1 and 2 on your own. If you'd like to read online, you can follow the link that I've posted right along with this video. So when we come to the book of Job, we've come to an interesting book in the Bible. Job kind of stands a little bit outside the rest of the Old Testament. Job doesn't really seem to fit in so well with the story that God's Word has been telling us. Job doesn't mention God's people, the Israelites. Job doesn't mention Jerusalem, the capital city of God's people. Job doesn't mention the kings of God's people, say David or Solomon. It seems pretty disconnected from what's going on. But yet this is a story about God, the same God that we've been talking about all along. And this is about, it teaches us a little bit about God's interactions with the world and with humanity. Job, in a lot of ways, is concerned with one of the biggest questions we have. And that's, why is there evil and suffering in the world? And how can we explain this? Now, the thing we need to understand coming in is that Job doesn't give us definite answers. In the Bible, God doesn't give us an easy explanation, but He does give us some things to help us think about evil and mostly how to think about Him in response to evil. So today in Job chapters 1 and 2, we see that Job has all of these calamities come upon him. Everything that he owns, his oxen and donkeys, his sheep and camels are destroyed or carried off. All of his children are killed. And then Job himself is covered with all these sores and this pain and misery. And it seems that nothing is going right in Job's life anymore. And poor Job has no idea what is going on. He just knows that all this tragedy has gone on. And yet he holds on to this faith in God. He says, God has been good to me. God has given me many blessings. If God takes them away, that's God's business. If God sends me trouble after God has sent me good, that's God's business. Now for us, reading the book of Job, we get a little bit more of the story. We know things that Job doesn't, and we see this interaction between God and Satan. And there's this test that's set up. Satan says, well, Job only serves you for selfish reasons. And God says, no, I don't think so. I think that Job serves me because Job wants to serve me. And so Satan sets up this test. And we see a couple of things here. We see that God is not the one who causes this evil. God does not do things that are evil. And so we shouldn't, when we suffer, we shouldn't blame God in the sense that God has done this. Now, it's a little tricky because God certainly allows this, and we can ask God, why would you allow me to go through this suffering? And in fact, in the book of Psalms, and later, even in the book of Job, we see that the writers of the Bible do this a lot. They turn to God and say, why would you allow this to happen? But God doesn't do evil. The book of Job and the Bible as a whole are very clear about that. But another thing, and probably the more important thing to learn today, is that God is in control. God determines when and how much bad stuff can happen. God limits the power that Satan has to attack Job. God is in control. God doesn't let things happen randomly. God doesn't let the forces of evil run wild. God is in control. And we might ask, well, why would God allow evil in the first place? And we don't get that answer today. But we know that God is in control, that God doesn't allow things to happen outside of His will. But we also know that God takes delight in His people. God is pleased with Job. God is pleased with those who put their faith in Him and trust Him. And God doesn't let the powers of evil have their way with us. God protects us and watches over us. So that's what we're seeing today. We're going to learn more and talk more about the book of Job for the next couple of days. But these are my thoughts right now. If you've got thoughts or comments or questions of your own, please share them. Thanks again for watching. I hope that you have a great day.